We don't understand our ancient ancestors as well as we'd like to. We know a tiny bit about how they lived, the beliefs they held and the wars they waged, but the finer details of their secret lives still slip through the cracks. That's reflected in the artifacts they left behind, which often defy the understanding of modern science. Let's explore that together in this video, starting with number 15, Neoasyrian Demon Magic Amulet. Magic might sound like superstition today, but to ancient people, it was as real as fire or rain. Take this obsidian Lamashtu amulet from the Neo-Assyrian Empire dating back roughly 2,800 years. This isn't a locket to hang on the neck, it's a weapon of belief etched in cuneiform with the word incantation across the front. On the reverse, the longer inscription pleads, "O Lamashtu, daughter of Anu, greatest among the gods, be conjured by the heavens and the earth." Lamashtu was feared in Mesopotamian mythology, a monstrous female demon blamed for the deaths of mothers and infants during childbirth. She had the head of a lion, donkey ears, and bird-like claws, a terrifying mashup of predator and nightmare. So why summon her? That's what makes this artifact so disturbing. It appears to have been crafted to deliberately invoke her, possibly to curse an unborn child or its mother. Whatever the intention, this object reveals a raw truth about ancient fear. When people believed in demons, they built them into stone. Number 14, Ruse-Car Figures. The Ruse-Car figures are some of the most unusual wooden artifacts ever found. Carved from yew wood, with eyes made from quartzite and detachable, oversized genitalia, they were found near Ruse-Car, close to Withersea in Yorkshire. Radiocarbon dating places them at around 2,600 years old, placing them at the transition between the Bronze and Iron Ages. Nothing else quite like them has been found. Historians are puzzled by their purpose. The most commonly accepted theory is that they were votive offerings, but that's often the fallback guess when no other explanation fits. These figures were buried in blue clay, suggesting the land was once near water or even submerged. That's important, since ritual offerings were often placed in water at the time. What's remarkable is their survival. With detachable parts that could have easily broken or been lost, it's surprising they're intact. Clearly, they weren't casual toys or discarded carvings. They were created carefully, buried deliberately, and preserved against all odds. Number 13, Batons. This next find isn't a single artifact, it's a category. Known as perforated batons, or sometimes batons de commandment, they've baffled researchers for over a century. Every one of these objects features a central hole and is carved from an antler. They're found across prehistoric Europe, but their purpose remains up in the air. The name suggests a ceremonial use, though there's zero solid evidence backing that up. A more grounded theory is that they were practical tools, maybe for straightening spears or arrows. That would make sense, especially since many are engraved with animal motifs, hinting at a hunting context. Some are plain, others intricately decorated, but none offer a clear explanation. The oldest known example is 23,000 years old, the youngest around 12,000. Despite that long time span, the mystery hasn't budged. A similar artifact in North America, the Murray Springs shaft wrench, was likely used by the Clovis people and shares some of the same design traits. We still don't know their full story. Number 12, Noramitsu Odachi. This is a weapon that looks almost too massive to be real. Forged in 15th century Japan, it stretches over 13 feet long and weighs a solid 30 pounds. Some believe it was ceremonial, while others speculate it was crafted for an unusually large warrior. The myth of a giant-sized swordsman is dramatic, but the ceremonial theory makes more sense. Something this size wouldn't be practical in actual combat. Japanese legend does speak of giants, but there's no solid evidence linking this blade to one. More likely, it was created as a prestigious gift, perhaps awarded to an elite warrior after a major victory, or given in honor of retirement. Either way, crafting a sword this massive required extraordinary skill. The Noramitsu Odachi isn't just big, it's polished, balanced, and masterfully made. It may never have seen battle, but it carries weight in other ways. Today, it stands as a symbol of craftsmanship, honor, and the scale of ambition in medieval Japan. Number 11. Malta Flying Swan Pendants. Found in the Siberian region of Irkutsk, the Malta flying swans are tiny pendants made of mammoth ivory, discovered in a child's grave at the ancient Malta site. Dating back 20,000 to 22,000 years, these delicate carvings show swans mid-flight. 13 were recovered in total, and they were likely strung together to form a necklace. If the largest ones were centered, the shape might have echoed the migratory flight formation seen in nature. For the people of that region, the seasonal appearance of swans likely signaled key moments, whether for food, ritual, or timekeeping. The swans weren't just birds, they were markers of change. The fact that these pendants were buried with a child suggests a deeper meaning, possibly protection, remembrance, or guidance into the afterlife. The craftsmanship, using mammoth ivory, adds another layer. These weren't everyday trinkets. They were carefully carved, deliberately placed, and tied to something bigger than simple decoration. Whatever they were meant to last, and they have. Number 10. Fishtail Dagger. Back in 1867, a flint dagger was unearthed on the Danish island of Funen. It's known as the Hingsgavel dagger and is easily one of the finest examples of a fishtail flint blade ever discovered. Estimated to be nearly 3,800 years old, it hails from the final stretch of the Nordic Stone Age and has since become a Danish cultural icon. The design, named for the handle's distinctive tail-like flare, echoes bronze daggers that were imported from southern Europe. But unlike those bronze weapons, this was masterfully shaped from local flint. That speaks to the creativity of Stone Age craftsmen who couldn't replicate bronze but still aimed for style and function. The dagger's reputation runs deep. It's even printed on Denmark's 100 krona banknote. What's more, the fishtail design didn't die out. It lived well into the Bronze Age, showing how form outlasted material. This wasn't just a weapon. It was art, status, and legacy chipped into stone by people who knew exactly what they were doing, or maybe not. Number 9. Tel Tassaf Seal. In June 2021, archaeologists from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem uncovered an ancient clay seal impression at the site of Tel Tassaf, located in Israel's Beit Shean Valley. Dated to nearly 7,000 years ago, the seal features two distinct geometric stamps. Researchers believe it was used to secure storage spaces, likely silos or barns, set aside for trade or communal use. When a sealed door was opened, the clay impression would break, signaling that someone had entered. This system served the same basic function as modern tamper-proof seals. While such methods became widespread during Jerusalem's First Temple period, around 2,600 years ago, this seal predates written language, making it one of the earliest examples of formal property marking. Even more interesting is the clay itself, which originated over 10 miles from the site. That suggests the people of Tel Tassaf maintained long-distance trade with other communities. The object may be small, but it represents an important step toward organized commerce, property protection, and structured social systems in early human history. Number 8. Rondells from the Stone Age. The Gunnersdorf Rondells have sparked debate ever since their discovery in Germany, and more keep surfacing across Europe. These circular perforated stone tools are from the Stone Age and appear in both plain and intricately engraved versions. Their original function has never been pinned down, but several ideas have circulated. Some suggest they were tent fasteners, while others lean toward a more domestic role like spindle whorls for thread making. That second theory, proposed by archaeologist Don Hitchcock, has gained momentum. The detailing on some pieces, abstract patterns carved into stone or even bone, shows artistic care, which leans toward everyday significance rather than decoration alone. A few researchers think they were worn as ornaments, though their bulk makes that unlikely. While no single theory has stuck, what's clear is that they weren't random. They were shaped with precision, crafted with intent, and passed through hands that knew exactly what they were doing. Whether they spun thread or sealed shelter, these pieces meant something to the people who made them. Number 7. Blungfun Labyrinth. In many ways, the entire island of Blungfun, also known as the Blue Maiden, is an archaeological artifact in itself. Everywhere you look, there are traces of forgotten rituals and strange structures. While the Swedish government has considered making it a national park, it faces pushback from locals who believe the island is cursed or tied to black magic. Myths speak of witches who live there or giants, depending on who's telling the tale. While there's no evidence of sorcery or giants, what does exist is a 9,000-year-old stone labyrinth with no clear origin or purpose. Deeper within the island, there's a rock altar inside one cave and what might be a simple Stone Age theater in another. Both are considered odd for the Mesolithic period. No one's sure what these spaces were for. There's even an old legend that anyone who steals a stone from the labyrinth will unleash a curse. Nobody's tested it. Every single stone is still in place. Number 6. Elilumite vases. Our understanding of ancient cultures often hits a wall, not because they didn't leave behind records, but because we can't read them. Translating extinct languages is a brutal task, especially without a Rosetta Stone-type breakthrough. The Elilumite vases, dating back 4,000 years, are a perfect example. These relics come from the ancient Elilumite civilization, once rooted in present-day Iran. The inscriptions on these vases are clearly written in an early form of Elilumite script, and we can even make out royal names like Ibarat the Feckin and Shilhaha, early Sukulma dynasty kings. But the rest of the text is totally unreadable. Without a reliable translation key, we're locked out. The inscriptions are extensive and likely contain more about these rulers or perhaps a specific historical moment, but we're stuck at the surface. For now, modern linguists can only guess. It's a frustrating dead end for historians and another reminder that writing alone doesn't guarantee clarity. If we can't crack the language, their stories stay buried in silence. Number 5. Gospel of Jesus Sit's Wife. The so-called Gospel of Jesus' Wife has remained one of the most disputed texts in Christian history. There's no reference to Jesus having a wife in any accepted version of the Bible, but then again the Bible has been rewritten and edited for centuries. Some scholars believe this 4th century scrap of papyrus preserves a passage deliberately removed from early scripture. Others insist it's a well-made modern forgery, possibly created within the last 20 years. The text was presented in 2018 by Harvard historian Karen King and instantly caused controversy. The first line reads, "Jesus said to them, 'My wife,' before cutting off." Further down, the text seems to refer to Mary Magdalene. The script is Coptic, which matches the era, and the papyrus itself is genuinely ancient. Still, critics believe the text was written recently on a blank piece of old papyrus. Whether it's an authentic relic or a fabricated one, the gospel continues to stir debate, and that debate doesn't appear to be ending anytime soon. All right, now let's move to Number 4. Spindle in Poland. Back in the 1950s, archaeologists at Czerniki, Poland, unearthed a spindle whorl but didn't realize its real value until decades later. At the time, they mistook its surface markings for simple decorative lines. That changed in 2018 when researchers re-examined the object and discovered the markings were actually Cyrillic script. With that revelation, the spindle whorl was dated to the late 12th century, making it the only one from early medieval Poland with written text. Typically, whorls, used to add weight and momentum while spinning thread, are made from clay, but this one was carved from dark slate. Although it was found in Poland, the inscription strongly suggests it was made in Russia. The clearest word visible is hoten, which can mean either lover or master, hinting that the whorl might have been a gift, possibly from a husband to his wife. It wasn't found in any structure but rather outside, likely dropped and buried over time. For something so simple, it carries a surprising amount of personal history. Number 3. 12th century oil lamp. In June 2016, Israeli lifeguard Miriam Schick went for his usual morning jog along the Mediterranean shoreline of Ashkelon. During the run, he noticed something half buried in the sand, a small oil lamp that looked oddly familiar. The object resembled the kind of lamp made famous by tales like Aladdin, and experts believe it dates back to the 12th century. Ashkelon was a significant port during that period, so the lamp may have arrived via trade or been locally produced in southern Israel and brought northward for shipping. Trade routes were active, and goods frequently moved across the region. Though clearly tempted, Mir didn't test any fairy tale theories. He refused to rub the lamp, avoiding the risk of summoning a jinn. Belief in jinn spirits is still strong in parts of the region, and Mir didn't want to tempt fate. Instead, he handed the find over to local archaeologists. It's now considered one of the most complete oil lamps of its kind ever recovered in the area. What do you think about it? Well, let us know. Number 2. Portland Vase. The survival of the Portland vase is nothing short of astonishing. Most Roman-era glassware would have been shattered over time, yet this 2,000-year-old piece remains nearly intact. Made of layered cameo glass, the vase displays a beautiful but cryptic scene. Scholars can't agree on what it shows. Some argue it portrays the union of the sea gods, Thetis and Peleus, while others say it's a depiction of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. A few even suggest it represents events following Julius Caesar's assassination. There's no consensus, and that's part of its lasting fascination. But there's another oddity. The base includes a separate glass disc showing the figure of Priam. While it fits stylistically, experts agree it was added long after the vase was made. No one knows who added it or why. The vase's fine craftsmanship, uncertain iconography, and modified base make it one of the most debated Roman artifacts ever found. As with most ancient art, the meaning isn't fixed. It's whatever you choose to see in it. Number 1. Codex Washingtonas. Among the world's oldest surviving Bibles is the Codex Washingtonas, kept at the Smithsonian's Freer Gallery of Art. Dated between the 4th and 5th centuries, it ranks as the third oldest known biblical manuscript. Its text includes a line missing from the modern Gospel of Mark, one that raises more questions than answers. The passage reads, "And Christ replied to them, the term of years for Satan's power has been fulfilled, but other terrible things draw near." It appears shortly before the Gospel's ending and is far from subtle. While the passage fits with the apocalyptic tone of many biblical sections, scholars believe it was removed later to avoid confusion or controversy. Biblical expert Craig Evans suggests it might imply that Satan had more authority than God at certain points, which could have been deemed heretical. The codex was acquired in Egypt by American collector Charles Freer in 1906. Its earlier history is unknown, but its unusual content remains a topic of theological debate to this day. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.